What is Montessori? This teaching philosophy has been around for about 100 years now, but there are still a lot of people that haven't heard about it yet. In this video, I'm going to be tackling what is Montessori and how you can apply it into your own home. The Montessori philosophy originated from a woman named Maria Montessori. This woman was a genius. She actually studied and became the first woman in Italy to be a doctor. Then she went on to work with children with disabilities from one of the poorer parts of Italy called San Lorenzo. There she studied these children, working alongside them to develop these beautiful learning materials that are still around today. What's amazing is that her work with them actually accelerated their academic standing over their peers. People were shocked and amazed. Like, how are these materials and this philosophy having such a profound impact on these children? Eventually, schools began popping up, adapting her methods into their curriculum. People were finally recognizing how capable children are and how, when proper time and care is given to them, they can excel beyond imagination. Some of you watching this right now probably won't believe me if I told you that with this philosophy and method, many children as young as 3 or 4 years old are capable of reading and spelling. I know because I've seen it in the children I've taught. I'm not saying every child is able to do this, just that when this philosophy and method is executed properly, every child would have such a deep respect and love for knowledge that their natural desire to learn is what will motivate their progress. So now you're probably wondering, what are these amazing materials and how can I apply it to my child? So if you're really curious about this philosophy, this method, what you can do is you can actually check out my book, Fresh Montessori, where I have a whole list of materials and activities that you can do with your child at home that follows the Montessori philosophy. So in this book, I discuss who Maria Montessori is, what her methods are, what they look like, and how you can implement them into your home. But in this video, let me quickly break down the gist of what Montessori is. Montessori is composed of 2 major things: philosophy and method. Number 1, the Montessori philosophy. The Montessori philosophy holds 4 major things to high regard. These are what we'll call the guiding principles. Guiding principle number 1 is respect for the child. Childhood is a journey equal but not subpar to adulthood. During this period in life, the next generation of leaders are forming lifelong habits, morals, and values. Since adults cannot compensate for any damage done in the early years, they must handle this period with the utmost care. The Montessori philosophy does this by respecting the child's right to learn, choose, and be different, having the freedom to explore and make decisions that expand their understanding of the world. Guiding principle number 2, the absorbent mind. Many of you have heard the saying, children are like sponges. That's because from 0 to 6 years old, children are able to naturally understand and apply information more than any other time in their life. From 0 to 6 years old, it is not unheard of for a child to learn 3 to 4 languages without difficulty. They even pick up accents associated with the language without verbal or written lessons. This is described by the Montessori philosophy as the absorbent mind. In other words, children's minds are like sponges. Guiding principle number 3, sensitive periods. As people get older, their interests change. A 20-year-old is not as eager to run as a 2-year-old. A 50-year-old is not as keen to learn a new language as a 3-year-old, and a 16-year-old is not as excited about numbers like a 5-year-old. Dr. Montessori suggests that from birth to age 6, there are 6 developmental periods, also known as sensitive periods. In these periods, children can develop particular skills more naturally than any other time in their life, resulting in their love for learning. I emphasize the word developmental because the exact timing of each sensitive period is dependent on each child's development. Let's go through each period. Period number 1 is movement, and this is happening from 0 to 2.5 years old. Studies have shown that an increased or higher duration of physical activity has beneficial effects on cognitive development during early childhood. Children's gross motor coordination can be supported by encouraging them to run, walk, balance, and jump with or without your assistance. Children's fine motor and hand-eye coordination can be improved by encouraging them to use their hands to touch, turn, insert, and grasp small items using their pincer or palmar grasp. Period number 2 is order, and this is happening from birth to 2 years old. Between those ages, children need to have routines, rules, and order in the environment to help them make sense of the world around them. This gives them a sense of control over the environment and allows for a higher level of thinking, such as classification, a skill necessary for learning language and math. When things are taken out of order, a child's sense of security is also removed, possibly resulting in a sudden change in their behavior. Period number 3 is language. From 0 to 6 years old, children have the natural ability to connect meaning between words, following the fixed language laws and rules of syntax. For optimal language development, talk to children with clear and concise language. No baby talk. Speaking indifferently from the spoken language will only confuse them and may cause language delays. Period number 4 is social aspects. Between 0 to 5 years old, a child goes through 6 stages of play in which they slowly build interest towards playing with others of the same age group. You'll also notice that between 0 to 5 years old, children have an attention to detail that draws them to explore small objects. So from that age period, they are beginning to build their understanding of the world by picking small objects up, looking at them closely, and in most cases, putting them in their mouths. You'll also notice that from 2 to 6 years old, children are forming schemas of the world in which they are organizing categories of information based on their similarities and differences. And this is done mainly through their senses. Guiding principle number 4, the environment as a third teacher. Educators provide students with instructions that develop their intellectual, moral, and social growth. There's no limit of who or what an educator can be. The environment around a child, for instance, can act as a third educator. When prepared carefully, children can learn through the environment around them with minimal to no help from others. The quality of how the environment is designed will affect their mental development, sense of independence, and overall behavior. The Montessori philosophy offers independence by providing children with an environment that promotes their freedom to explore their surroundings. And this is seen in the materials presented to them and the structure of their surroundings. Questions Montessori instructors will ask themselves when preparing a child's environment might be, is this preparing them for independence? Am I providing something that will require minimal to no assistance? Is this progressing their development? Are the materials challenging enough? So if you're a parent who's still figuring out how to arrange your child's environment, you can start off by asking yourself these same questions. Number 2, the method. To understand how the Montessori method works and why it works, we need to first discuss a man named Dr. Lev Vygotsky. Dr. Vygotsky believed that social interaction plays a critical role in children's learning and stresses the importance of culture in affecting cognitive development. Like Dr. Montessori, Dr. Vygotsky understood that children are their first teachers. Adults are necessary partners in their world, guiding them through rules that they have not yet understood, but are actively learning. Dr. Vygotsky's sociocultural theory can be divided into 3 main principles. Principle number 1, culture and learning. Dr. Vygotsky emphasized that cognitive development stems from social and cultural interaction. In other words, people are shaped by their interaction with others, as well as the culture they live in. The Montessori method acknowledges this by immersing children in an environment where they are treated with mutual respect and are given meaningful experiences relevant to their culture. The Montessori environment is designed to be a microcosm of the world, teaching children how to treat others, how to complete tasks uninterrupted, how to collaborate with others, and how to care for oneself. Let me see if I can make this a little clearer for you. A Montessori classroom is typically divided into 5 areas: practical life, sensorial, math, language, and culture. In these Montessori classrooms, children are free to roam around to explore each curriculum area. In practical life, children work on skills that will help them be independent in caring for themselves. This includes learning how to button up or zipper fabric, pouring water from a jug, or spooning from one bowl to another. In sensorial, children work on enhancing their senses through different activities, like smelling bottles, where they have to differentiate between the different smells. In math, children are working to understand numbers through tactile materials. For instance, they're not just learning to memorize the times tables, like what I did growing up. Instead, they're provided with different manipulatives that help them to really understand the concept of multiplication and skip counting. In language, there's a system used to help children read independently by following their natural ability to learn. This is done by using colored materials that build upon each other. And in culture, children are introduced to the different cultures around the world through raw materials and plenty of books and stories. Principle number 2, the more knowledgeable other. The term more knowledgeable other, or MKO as I'm going to refer to it, is someone with a better understanding or a higher ability than the learner themselves regarding a particular task, process, or concept. The Montessori method acknowledges the MKO as the teachers, adults, peers, and even the electronic support system in a child's life. Principle number 3, the zone of proximal development. The zone of proximal development refers to the difference between what a child can achieve independently and what they can achieve with guidance and encouragement from an MKO. Think about how a person learns to ride a bike. They may know how to position themselves on the bike, but certain skills are too difficult for them to accomplish without an MKO present. Until an MKO becomes present, it's not known what the person can fully accomplish. On their own, a child can master skills in a matter of months that can take adults years. Yet to accomplish simple tasks, they still need an MKO to teach them how to unlock skills in their zone of proximal development. In a Montessori classroom, children's full potential is achieved by providing them with minimal to no assistance in order to promote their independence. It is by combining all of the elements in Vygotsky's theory that we can see how the Montessori environment provides children with the optimal learning environment for cognitive growth. So that's it for this video. I hope this has helped clarify what Montessori is. If you like this video, you can check out my other videos here. I'll see you in those videos. Stay fresh!